Professor Farnsworth telling him to find a better way to kill himself so he doesn't destroy his organs.
Yep. Like that entire episode, like every single episode is just laced with those inside and weird jokes and shit like that. But do a
I
flip.
thought you were about to ask me my favorite episode, and I was gonna be like, man, fuck off. I can't pick a favorite.
There is none.
What makes Futurama so amazing is they'll give you like 4 amazing episodes that are hilarious, and then they're like, all right, now here's the Seymour episode where you're gonna fucking be depressed for the next week.
Yep. Oh.
Or the fucking.
Speaking of which, there's
the
actually.
Four-Leaf Clover episode.
Oh my god.
Come on.
Fucking really? Yeah, the Luck of the
Somebody is
Friarish.
they're not cutting onions in my house. They're throwing onions and hitting me in the face.
Like, there's one common, like, well, okay, it's not common. It's actually not very well known until now, recently, that the writers of Futurama were actual rocket scientists. They had PhDs in astrophysics and all kinds of shit. Like, they were very
isn't it the
smart.
body switching episode where they literally created their own theorem?
Yeah, yep. Like, them motherfuckers, they knew what they were doing.
This is back to the my favorite joke. One of them definitely has to be in the first episode when Leela's calling for backup, and she says, "This is Officer 1B DI."
Oh yeah, yep.
That one's great.
And then the fact that she lives at apartment 1I.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Fucking meta jokes everywhere.
Or, dude, when fucking...
Like,
when,
oh my god.
Fry and Bender first move in with each other, and he talks about how Bender got carpet, so now his head hits the ceiling. Oh, I love Futurama.
Dude. Oh my god, that show. I fall asleep to that every night. Like, there's no way I can go to sleep without watching
I alternate
Futurama.
between a few shows, but I've seen it an unhealthy number of times.
Yep.
As I'm sure you have.
Yep.
What's weird about it, I refuse to watch the final season because, like, when I watch final season, then it's actually over. So I've heard the final season is actually really good, though.
Dude, it's Futurama, so every single episode is amazing, no matter what. The fact that it's the final season, and here's the fucked up part: they left it open-ended, so that way, if they ever wanted to revisit it, they could.
Honestly, though, I don't think it's necessary for.
Oh no! I'm not saying they should bring it back. I think where it's at is like where it should lie, and it's beautiful the way it's made, and it should not be continued. But the fact that they did that, just in case, it's fucking awesome.
Talking about though, like John DiMaggio, another thing is Adventure Time. I don't think they need to go back to Adventure Time.
I've actually never seen Adventure Time. Honestly, I never really.
So, what's weird? The first like 2 or 3 seasons, it's very clearly a kids show.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, it trends into some like very adult storytelling under the guise of a kids show. It's surprisingly very good.
I might have to check it
I
out
had
at
a
some
friend
point.
in like high school that recommended it to me 100 million times, and I was like, nah, I'm not watching that shit. And then one day I was bored, didn't know what to watch, and I was like, fuck it, I'll watch Adventure Time. Why not? And really enjoyed it, surprisingly.
That's like a while back. I'm pretty sure you've seen or heard of the show The 100.
Yeah, I believe you told me about it. I don't really watch a lot of TV, to be honest with you.
It's on Netflix. That's where I watched it. Holy Jesus, my fucking computer lag. That was one of those shows that like a few people had recommended, and I was like, I don't really care for it. I don't really care to watch it. Blah blah blah. I watched everything that I had wanted to watch on Netflix at that point. And I was like, all right, fine.
Right.
I'll watch the 100. Holy shit, I should not have done that.
Yeah.
I should not have fucking done that because I was hooked in the first 2 episodes. And now that it's over with, I'm kind of angry. Because it's over. Like, oh my god, I am not legitimately, whatever, but the fact that it's over is like, this is fucking horseshit. It ended on a good note. It ended greatly. I think it, ended where it should have. But it's like, I wish it had kept going. Dude. Oh my god.
I'm trying to think of shows. This is kind of still on topic, but a show that anytime I hear people talking about it when they don't know anything about the source material, it drives me insane, is The Witcher.
Oh yeah, I'm not even gonna try and talk about that because I don't know shit.
I'm
I've seen
such
it.
a Witcher fanboy. The show is great.
Oh,
It really
I
is a good
loved
show.
it, but I don't know
It's
jack
not
shit about
very book accurate.
it. So
I know a lot of people are really upset about race changing and stuff like that. I wasn't too upset about it. Mainly because it's not an adaptation of the game, it's an adaptation of the book.
I didn't.
Which I guess
like,
gives them a little bit more creative liberty with the character designs.
Yeah.
But just hearing people talk about it when like they don't even have any, like I had a full blown conversation with Lance's sister Sheena,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, "Oh yeah, it's like my favorite show ever," but she didn't even understand like the way the timeline was working in the first season.
That's the reason why I'm not talking about it. Like I
Let me say,
enjoyed
the
it.
timeline is very needlessly complicated
Yeah.
in the first season.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I was
finish what you were
like
saying.
I was lost while watching it, but at the same time I was definitely enthralled by it, you know? Like I
Yeah,
wanted to continue.
I imagine the second season is going to be a lot more concise because the first season is based off of a book called The Last Wish that is a combination of short stories, which is why it feels so disconnected.
Ah.
And the second season, unless they do more, because they didn't like, obviously they didn't hit every story from The Last Wish, so they might do more of that, or they'll move on to the second book, which is a full-fledged novel, and it's not a collection of short stories.
Yeah, see, I didn't know any of that. I thought it was based off of the book, or not the book, the game The Witcher. I really did. Like I went into it thinking that's what it was based off of. So
Yeah, from what I can gather, I can't remember the name of. I think her name's Lauren Histrick, who writes it. She said she's trying to go for like a happy medium of book accuracy and accuracy to the games, just to make everyone happy. Because there's a lot of people. The games are way bigger than the books. Specifically, The Witcher 3, which is like one of the biggest games ever.
yeah.
So obviously, when you adapt something like that, there's the desire to keep it book accurate for the fans who have read the books, but there's also the desire to not piss off the people who have only played the games, because that audience is way bigger.
Yeah.
The only show right now that's being made that I'm not happy about is The Last of Us.
Oh, they finally started production on it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm going to give it a chance.
I kind of figured you would. Because, I mean, it is your favorite game.
It's so unnecessary. It's so fucking, like, there's no need for the show. The game is not hard. It's literally a game that you could be fucking 95 years old and never played a game in your life. You could pick that game up and play it effortlessly.
Fuck, there's like 4 of them right there. This is horse shit.
Yeah, I got fucking obliterated.
I'm not even paying attention to the game. That's why I'm getting my shit pushed in.
But yeah, definitely, it's just something that has no reason to exist.
Well, there was one thing about The Witcher that I did want to say, and this you can correct me. That's perfectly fine because of the fact that I've never played the game, never read the book, nothing. But
Right.
I have seen the gameplay of The Witcher. Like I saw somebody playing it once. I will say that Henry Cavill is a great person to be playing. I think his name is Geralt. Geralt. Okay. Sorry for butchering the way it's said. I apologize.
Yeah.
But
Dude, trust me, I've heard people who have put like 500 hours in the game call him Gerald. So
no, when I heard it in the TV show, I was like, okay, so that's how it's pronounced. You know, like I knew it was like Geralt or Geralt or something like that, but I knew it wasn't like a G or a J sounding name.
Right.
So, but him playing Geralt,
he is a.
I will fuck that up for a while.
He's a good Geralt of Rivia.
So
he's a good Geralt of Rivia.
So
that being said, one of the biggest complaints that a lot of more hardcore fans of the book have is Geralt being less talkative is later on in the books and real heavy in the games. Like he's a man of very few words in the games in the later books.
Yeah.
Early on, he's almost he's kind of like
holy shit! Did you see that?
He's like an overshit. Yeah, that was insane.
What the fuck?
But he's kind of like overly preachy and shit, and a lot of people find him to be annoying, which is why I think they didn't really adapt him that way. And people have a lot of really dumb complaints with it, like Geralt's not supposed to be handsome. He's meant to be very hard on the eyes.
Mm.
And if you don't know what Witchers are, they're basically mutated humans. They go, they're obviously taken to Witcher schools. They're trained, and the end of their Witcher training, they undergo a thing called the Trial of the Grasses, which is basically torture, where they are mutated and they're way faster than regular people. They have greatly heightened senses and stuff like that. Like, they can, like, smell blood in the air. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot that you're not going to get from the show, most likely.
Yeah, I'm actually
Which just
listening so
happens.
that way I can learn. 'Cause I don't know
And
jack
it should
shit.
also be said, basically all other Witchers, as Geralt's story progresses and he becomes more, he's famous. And he's like the only Witcher that's famous. Just about everybody knows who he is. And
Alright.
the way I'll explain the timeline, this is about as good as I can do. Ciri, the girl with the white hair, the young girl, hers is meant to be present day for them. Geralt is anywhere from 20 to 30 years, maybe 10 to 15, before Ciri's. And Yennefer's could be as far back as 60 to 70, because sorcerers and witchers do not age like people do. In fact, I believe Vesemir is going to be in the second season, and he's the witcher that trained Geralt. He's upwards of 250 years old. And Yennefer, I believe, is about 20 years older than Geralt, and she's pushing 100.
I'm gonna die. Yep.
But the timeline is basically Yennefer's storyline is way far in the past. Geralt's is moderately in the past, and Ciri's is modern day for them.
See, I didn't know that. I didn't know any of
Yeah,
that.
they make zero effort to explain it to you in the show.
So I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it now.
And interestingly enough, sorceresses like Yennefer and Triss, and you'll interact if you continue to watch the show. You'll see Geralt at least interact with a lot of different sorceresses, and you never really see what they actually look like. The only one you really get to see is Yennefer, because you see her before she has access to her magic abilities. But sorceresses, they use magic to alter their appearance, so you'll never see a sorceress that isn't beautiful.
Oh, what the fuck? I didn't know he could see me.
And Geralt and Yennefer sort of raised Ciri as their daughter. That's unfortunate.
Just a little bit.
But they raised Ciri as their daughter because both sorceresses and witchers are infertile. They can't have kids.
Well, that kind of sucks.
It's a part of the witcher mutations that makes them sterile. And all sorceresses are just sterile.
Well, that kind of sucks. But
Yeah, I mean, they get to live forever, just about. So,
yeah. But
The one
not being
negative
able to
to
have
it is-
kids.
so long as something unforeseen doesn't happen, their sort of daughter figure, Ciri, will die before them. Because she's human. Well, mostly human.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too far into what's going on with Ciri, because that'll definitely be explored in later seasons. I don't want to spoil a lot of that. But she is insanely powerful. I'll just tell you that.
But yeah, that
And
was.
it should be said, another big complaint that people have with Henry Cavill as Geralt, who I think he's good. He really captures what I view as Geralt of Rivia. Is he's too big, which is a fair complaint, I guess, if you just want to go off book accuracy, because Geralt is meant to be very skinny. Yeah. Essentially, his strength isn't from... I mean, obviously, all Witchers do work hard. They live off of killing monsters. But it's not from like working out or anything like that, so he's not buff.
Yeah.
And his physique is purely based around efficiency. And to me, that's something really dumb to be upset about.
Oh, behind us.
Yeah, that was unfortunate as well. But
I'm starting to do better.
when it comes to like The Witcher, or not The Witcher, but The Last of Us, part of it is I'm not happy with the casting for the show. I literally was never going to be happy with it. Never. Because you're never going to be able to match the game, and as a result, I'm never going to be happy with it.
Yeah.
But
I
don't know if Pedro Pascal is actually Mexican, but Joel is like a Southerner from Texas, and now they got him being played by a Mexican, and I think his brother Tommy, who is his brother, so he's also a Southerner from Texas.
I do think Pedro
guy.
Pascal could pull off the Southern look because I mean he did it in Kingsman: The Golden Circle.
We're talking about drastically. That's flamboyant Southern.
Yeah, okay, understandable.
Right? Joel is about as reserved as characters get. Far more reserved than Geralt. We could go full on into that, but I don't know.
Oh, I don't know jack shit. Like like when we're talking about The Last of Us or The Witcher, I don't know jack shit about it. Like I'm not even gonna sit here and act like I do. And I can't. But I definitely enjoyed The Witcher. It was one of those like I definitely need to go back and rewatch it now that I know a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. Once you have a better idea of the timeline, watching it, it makes more sense that way.
Yeah, because I was definitely confused.
That was like one of the primary complaints with the show. And there's no way around it. It feels super disconnected.
Yeah. So I'll definitely have to go back and rewatch it, and that way I can get a way better idea. Like even though I won't have a better idea, but I'll know a little bit more.
Yeah.
But dude, I remember there's one show that I started watching with my ex, the fucking piece of shit that we all know.
Yeah.
And we literally watched every single episode because it was so fucking awesome. That was House. I hope you've at least seen one or two episodes.
Watched shit out of that.
Dude,
I have commitment issues with shows, man. Like if something's longer than 2 or 3 seasons, I'm like, especially if it's a live action show, like with something animated like Futurama or South Park, they can do all kind of shit that is so stupid and outlandish that it'll keep me entertained. But shows where I have to pay like close attention, I generally can't. I got too much ADD for that. My brain is like fucking. I should read a book and fucking run 10 laps.
All while listening to an audio tape.
Yeah.
Of a different book than the one I'm reading.
Dude, like, I used to get in so much trouble in school because I literally can't focus enough to just sit down and read. So I would wear headphones. That way my ears were doing something different while my eyes and brain were reading. And I would get in so much trouble for listening to music while I was reading.
Like, I think my favorite thing about House, though, like, it's been a while. It's been like 7 years since I watched House because I couldn't bring myself to watch it after everything kind of happened. But
yeah,
the biggest thing about House that I enjoyed was how big of a smartass he was. Like he was one of those like
prick.
He knew what he was talking about, and like he just knew there was no way around it. And I loved watching him get into it with his subordinates, like the interns and the other doctors that he worked with. Because they'd be like, well, there's this problem, there's this problem, there's this problem. House would walk in 5 seconds later and be like, well, he's got this, 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 and this. But there's also this, so there's got to be something else, right? House is like, no, it's not. And lo and behold, he's right. Like, it's fucking hilarious. And yeah, he's a prick, but he knows what the fuck he's doing. And I'm telling you right now, if I ever met a doctor like House, I would be so fucking happy. I would never go to any other doctor. Never.
Right?
Ever. Like, So that was one show, and then obviously the 100 was one show that I got recommended. Got hooked in like within 2 episodes, which pissed me off.
Fuck.
Oddly enough, it
I
pissed
tried.
me off because I'm sitting there like
Yeah.
I'd passed by it on Netflix quite a few times, seen the little description of it. It's like it doesn't seem very interesting
Yeah.
because it's about a group of kids, 100 kids that get dropped down to the ground after they've been in space for like 97 years because fucking humans wiped out all life on the planet essentially. And I'm like, there's no way they could pull that off and make it interesting. There's just no way. It doesn't make sense. 2 episodes in, I'm like, I gotta watch the. I had to be told multiple times, you gotta go to bed. And I'm not even kidding when I say I would go just one more episode. Just one more.
Look, I'll tell you this. When I say I'm so bad at watching shows, one of shows I enjoyed probably more than most shows that I've watched called Taboo. It's a show with Tom Hardy in it.
Mm-hmm.
Only 7 episodes long. I never finished it. I still got like 3 episodes left. I've been watching that shit for like 4 years. But The Witcher, which I believe was 8 episodes, I've watched it in one day.
Yeah.
Because it's just source material that I care about.
Yeah.